Minister of Justice fields questions about the justice chain. President of WIFO gives update on the Little Switzerland court case, and Function Book takes center stage at the WICLU's press briefing. Those are the headlines for Thursday, January the 14th, 2021. Good evening, viewers. This is SXM Daily News, and I'm Valerie from Clinton. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. And as usual, we have a full newscast for you, so let's get started. In our first story, the Windward Islands Chamber of Labor Unions, which represents several unions on the island, held a press briefing today to discuss a number of issues. However, the Function Book took center stage. Mrs. Claire Elshot said that even though we went through the Christmas holidays and persons did not hear much from the unions, it did not mean that the problems were solved. They are still here working, and they are still here working as unions on the issues pertaining to their members. They are still protesting certain issues on the union's behalf. In tonight's broadcast, you will first hear from President of the WICLU, Claire Elshot, President of the WCCU PSU, Deborah Rumbley, President of the NAPB, Rogerel Mauricia, and member of the NAPB, Janice Phillips.
Today, we will concentrate on the workers and their status in St. Martin. In the year 2020, we have been speaking about the different violations against the workers and the workers' rights in the public and private sector. And even though we also had a number of protests, etc., and even though we went into the Christmas spirit and persons did not hear much from the unions, it did not mean that the problems actually were solved. The problems are still here, and we are still here working as unions on the issues pertaining to our members and our membership. So therefore, today we will give an opportunity and an introduction so our members at large can hear the issues and they can know exactly that we are still in deliberation in all different types of consultations, and we are still protesting certain issues on their behalf.
We are here together to bring a point over that happened in December. In December, we received the CCSU then, I must say, received the function books of all the departments for the Justice Ministry. And we are here to inform you as members that we're going to be busy working on these books, and we would dearly and hope to have all of your input, no matter which department you're working in. Your input is highly appreciated.
And like Sister Claire and Debbie also had mentioned, the CCSU indeed had received those books that have to be reviewed. We're planning a general meeting on Monday coming between the hours of 3 and 5 in order to inform all the members in justice field what are the plans and what is the intention from the unions in order to get their input in order to have reviewing this book. Like Sister Claire said, and Debbie, we will ask the input from each member from each department in order to have your eyes, ears, in order for us to have those review to get back to the minister over these books. So on Monday coming, between the hours 3 and 5 at the Little League Ball Stadium, we will have our general meeting in order to inform the members what it's all about and how we would like their input in reviewing these books.
The function book, we as members of the CCSU got a book, but we did not directly went into the book that yet. We didn't start to review the book that yet. We have to come up with a proposal how we are going to tackle the books. So right now we don't know really what's inside of those books, and once we get into those books, we can be able to share information and everything like that. But first of all, we need amateurs to be along with us to sit down with those books, because some of us is not from all the departments. They're different departments, so we need a more insight of what's going on with the book. So to tell you what's in a book, I really can't tell you what's in a book. We have to set up a proposal in order to get the book. We haven't get them the hard copies in our hands yet.
Meanwhile, President of WIFO, Theophilus Thompson, gave an update this morning on the Little Switzerland court case. The WIFO president says that they are pursuing another course of action, as for over a year they have had mediation for negotiation, and that should be continued, but they have not heard nothing. However, Mr. Thompson also said this morning that he wanted to have an audience with the Dutch State Secretary to discuss their grievances when he was on the island, but when they went down to Maho to see the Dutch State Secretary, they were told that it was not possible. He expounded further.
For over a year, we have had mediation for negotiation, and that should be continued, but we have not heard nothing from the Department of the Mediator with regards to resuming that mediation process. And that should have been an avenue that it can be used by them to find exactly if the company is complying with the court verdict. So we have to pursue another line of action, and that is there are some persons who are in top positions in that company who we have now decided to put lien on their properties to get the owners of that company to realize that you have to address the matter of the employees on St. Martin. While you're living your luxurious and extortionate lifestyle, it's important that you take care of the employee, because while the government made a big mistake by introducing the salary supplement and having those employers now making an excuse and saying they didn't receive anything from the government. Matter of fact, one employer told us yesterday that since November, they haven't received any salary supplement. Now, I know that that company doesn't need that, but that is the excuse not to pay the employees their full salaries and still continue cutting on those employees' income. When we went down to Maho to see if we can get audience with the State Secretary, and that was not possible. But however, the press was there, and as we saw the following day in the Daily Herald, that they portrayed our stance and our position, which we know was very effective, because as trade unions, we know that what both our island government, which we are partners, we are not against, but we just want them to understand that you must talk to us. You must talk to your partners. Right now, the SED is not functioning because of some mix-up that hasn't put that body in place, which is supposed to be the most important body on the island that will deal with matters of interest. That Social Economic Council, which is not being fully recognized based on our Constitution, but based on international structure from the UN and the ILO, that body is supposed to be your highest body in any state, where if there's any issue, politically, socially, economically, culturally, that there should be a dialogue between that tripartite setting to bring forth matters of interest accordingly, and also suggestions and proposal to remedy or rectify those matters. So with that company, we are hoping that with a second court injunction, which is in the making and should be called anytime soon, that that company will understand that our laws has to be respected, and a court decision, a court verdict, is very important, because we must establish jurisprudence. So in the future, it would make it more easier for us to deal with matters, especially legal matters.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister of St. Martin, the Honorable Sylvia Jacobs, fielding a question at the Council of Ministers' weekly press briefing yesterday, explained the purpose of the Integrity Chamber and why they have been unable to move forward with their plans. The question was asked, what exactly has the Integrity Chamber done, and how many years does it take to get acquainted with the people of St. Martin? And has the thought of canceling the existence of the Integrity Chamber ever been considered?
The Integrity Chamber was something that Parliament approved, was moved forward. Everyone knows the history with that. I believe when we came in late 2019, early 2020, it was finally finalized, the board members, etc., screening processes and the like. So the Secretary General is a local young lady, and they have been working, their rollout plan was, let's say, thwarted by COVID-19. So that is one of the main reasons that, let's call it, they have not been able to move forward with their plans. Basically, it is to give advice related to integrity challenges. They have met with the government organization, with different ministers, with secretaries general. We have already been working on certain, and we've had, let's say, policies within government organization. So they are looking at those to ensure that they are up to par and advising on that. And of course, anytime they offer an advice, it is published publicly. So they have, I believe, already issued 1 or 2 advices. But similar to when the Ombudsman came into being, it's an entity outside of government, but of course connected. And we can see that people understand the role and function of that through their, let's call it, PR. And so that was one of the things. Yes, it was established under duress. Many of us did not agree with it. And we felt that we had enough checks and balances. But until, let's call it Parliament or any other entity with that purview decides differently, it is an established Chamber of St. Martin with goals that align with ours as well. So we are aiming to improve our integrity here as government, improve our service, and as such, we follow the recommendations as much as possible, given our limited resources from the Ombudsman, and in this case, even from the General Audit Chamber, Raad van Advies, and the like, in as much as we can. And again, we have a local representative in the person of Mr. Raphael Bosman, that is making sure that St. Martin's position remains first and foremost within those discussions. And as such, our meetings has been fruitful, and I look forward to ways in which we can collaborate. It is not anything about being imposed at this stage. At this stage, it is about collaborating to ensure that there is a high level of integrity in government as well as throughout operations on St. Martin. So how much longer it will take before you see actual advices, I think you can better ask the Integrity Chamber. But as far as we're concerned, getting our own Integrity Bureau back to where it was, ensuring that we have the persons of trust within each ministry, that civil servants can report integrity breaches to, and having a policy in place for that is the responsibility of government. So we are working on that internally, and if necessary, getting advice from them. I'm hoping that clarifies things.
And still to come, Collective Prevention Services detects COVID-19 among its staff. I'll have the details to that story and much more when SXM Daily News returns. Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News, and I'm Valerie Van Putten. And in more news from the Council of Ministers' weekly press briefing yesterday, regarding the justice chain, Minister of Justice, the Honorable Anna Richardson, fielding a question from the Voice of St. Martin's News Director Stephen Cerillion about the complete justice chain, which has to be reviewed or reformed. The minister was asked if she agrees with that assessment and in what areas does she think that attention is needed to be given in the justice chain.
Yes, I believe I have been very vocal about the fact that I recognize that we have a lot of work to do. Some persons may take it like it is an aggressive approach that has been stated. Recently, I was told, that the minister has challenges with the staff. It's not a matter of the minister having challenges with the staff, but just that I am aware and I can see that the staff has been doing things a certain way for a period of time, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it was the best way. And it, again, is my responsibility as minister to be able to evaluate, to ensure that we are executing our services by the letter of the law. And I recognize areas where we need to do that. Now, with that enforcement, you get some persons who feel like it has been done the correct way all along, and it seems a bit strange. And you'll hear things like, well, what is this new policy she's coming with? Really and truly, it is no new policy that the minister is coming with. It is the implementing and enforcement, the enforcement of the laws that are there. With all the regulations and conditions, that even more expectation is there now to ensure that the Ministry of Justice is being ran and managed and executing its services as prescribed by the law.
And in other news at this time, the Collective Prevention Services, CPS, would like to inform the general public that after almost 1 year of being on the COVID-19 forefront, there have been no in-house cases detected. However, on January the 13th, CPS detected COVID-19 among its staff. The department immediately enacted a plan to deal with any positive cases, including immediate testing of staff. Staff members that have tested positive for the COVID-19 virus will remain in isolation. CPS will continue to monitor and test all staff over the next 2 weeks to limit further transmission. Furthermore, CPS has activated their contingency plan to ensure that all COVID-19 related tasks and public health related services, including the baby clinic and vector control, continues as normal. I'd like to remind the public that COVID-19 can affect anyone at any time. CPS would like to reassure our clients that all efforts are in place to safeguard the health of our staff and the public. Please continue to wear a mask, wash your hands frequently, and maintain a 2-meter distance from others, stated Department Head Mrs. Eva Lista de Weaver. Persons experiencing signs and symptoms which may be related to COVID-19 and persons who have been in close contact with confirmed case are encouraged to make any of CPS's free COVID-19 testing drive-through from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. in Point Blanche at the lot before the harbor. Any weekend testing will remain by appointment only. And as we continue with our local COVID-19 cases, as of January 13th, there were 18 persons who tested positive for COVID-19. However, 9 persons have recovered, bringing the total active cases to 111. The total number of confirmed cases is now 1,607. The Collective Prevention Services, CPS, are monitoring 110 people in home isolation. 1 patient remains hospitalized at the St. Martin Medical Center. The total number of deaths due to COVID-19 remains at 27. The number of people recovered since the first case surfaced on St. Martin has increased to 1,469. 254 people are in quarantine based on contact tracing investigations carried out by CPS. The Ministry of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, VSR, the airport health team, in collaboration with the Healthcare Laboratory St. Martin, HCLS, have tested 2,154 travelers arriving at the Princess Juliana International Airport. while CPS tested 11,535 people throughout the community. As the numbers continue to fluctuate, CPS will continue to actively execute its contact tracing measures. You are asked to continue to play your part daily, wear a mask, maintain a social distance of 2 meters when in public places, wash or sanitize your hands frequently, and refrain from attending mass gatherings. If you're experiencing signs and symptoms that may be related to COVID-19, please stay at home and call CPS at 914. And at the Council of Ministers' weekly press briefing on Wednesday last, Prime Minister Sylvania Jacobs was asked to give clarity about the PCR testing and the Canadian tourists. The Prime Minister was also asked whether we have the capacity to test our tourists before they leave 72 hours prior to their flight time.
Yes, indeed, we've been notified, not formally, but of course, we have our informal means of communication within the Council of Ministers. And from our Minister of TIAT, we were informed that American Airlines was also requesting that as of, I believe, January 26th or 8th. Anyway, towards the end of January, they will be expecting or only accepting return or visit to the US with a PCR test or a negative test. As such, as you know, we have received more tests. We are not challenged at the moment with the number of tests, and that's why we're able to do the drive-thrus. And we will continue to do all that is necessary to ensure that the ability is there for what is necessary for any returning tourists as well. It will be a challenge, of course, and so we have 2 weeks to prepare for that.
Now, turning to our weather forecast for January the 14th, 2021, a moisture surge will cause cloudy periods and isolated showers during this forecast period. Additionally, the Atlantic high pressure ridge will generate light to moderate winds. Seas will remain slight to moderate during the next few days. Small craft operators and sea bathers should continue exercising caution. So the outlook through Saturday midday, fair to partly cloudy with passing showers possible. Now, let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, Lions Club of St. Martin to hold car raffle on April the 3rd. We'll have the details to that story when SXM Daily News returns.
The innovative Banco-Matico contactless smart card. Your Banco-Matico smart card is now equipped with a contactless feature for payments, so get ready to tap and go. Contactless payments are fast, easy, secure, and accepted worldwide at all Maestro-enabled contactless terminals. Tap for transactions equivalent to or less than 100 NAF, or the US dollar equivalent. You will receive notifications via email anytime you tap. Tap, tap, and pay fast with WIB. For more information, visit our website at wib-bank.net. Tap and go with your partner in progress.
Welcome back, viewers. And as we continue now with this item from the police blotter, on Tuesday morning, January the 12th, 2021, personnel of the Detective Department arrested the suspect with the initials MR in connection with an ongoing investigation into the fatal shooting which resulted in the death of JBA. The shooting took place on July the 27th, 2020, around 10 p.m. on the Hyssop Road in Cahill on the night of July the 27th, 2020. The police received several calls concerning a shooting that took place on the Hyssop Road behind the former Old Cake House supermarket in Cahill. On the scene, the officers encountered the victim, JBA, lying on the side of the road and not showing any signs of life. The arrest of the suspect was carried out in the area of Hyssop Road without any complications by the police arrest team. Before being transported to the police station, a house search was conducted at the residence of the suspect, and during this search, several items related to the investigation were discovered and confiscated. The suspect was later taken to the police station in Phillipsburg, where he is being held pending further investigation. And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening, the Lions Club of St. Martin, who is celebrating its 50th anniversary, is embarking on yet another fundraising event. This time, the club is raising much-needed funds through a car raffle. Proceeds generated from this event will help with various projects undertaken by the club in the community of St. Martin. The raffle tickets are going for $5 per ticket and is for a Hyundai Grand i10, which is slated to take place on April the 3rd, 2021. President of the St. Martin Lions Club, Mr. Alphonse Gums, spoke to the Voice of St. Martin's news department.
In regards to our fundraising, as you know, in order for us to be able to do our projects, fundraising is our key income generator. And as you know, our Christmas bingo was one of our biggest income generators, and unfortunately, due to COVID, we had to postpone, cancel that event. So our second fundraiser that we have embarked on is a car raffle, where we will be raffling a Hyundai i10 2021 model vehicle to the lucky winner. The car raffle will be prices. Cars will be very cheap. It's at $5 per ticket per person. We know in this time that many of us are not as fortunate as others. So we are trying to keep our cars to the public low so that everyone could be able to participate in this fundraiser.
And as it pertains to participation, how can one go about obtaining a ticket for this fundraiser?
Tickets are available from every member of the St. Martin Lions Club. Also, we have ticket outlets. You could buy tickets at Big D's Photo Studio. Tickets will also be at the Blotter bookstore. We are finalizing that arrangement, and hopefully by next week, those tickets should be available from there. So if anyone is looking for tickets, you could go to any member. We will be going out to the various supermarkets in the next coming weeks, that you will be finding Lions members at the supermarkets, at different stores, selling tickets as well. So tickets will be available, is available as of now from members.
Funds raised during this fundraising activity, Alphonse Gums, well, should I say Lions Gums, has the Lions Club identified any of those projects that you're looking forward to doing on St. Martin?
Yes, the funds raised will continue the work that we are doing on the island, where we talk about our awareness, our health fair that we want to do. Although our health fair this year might be different than previous years, it will be different in a way that we will be doing a virtual type of more awareness type of fund health fair. Also, our continued efforts within our community with helping students and elderly and individuals with eyeglasses and so forth. As you know, in December we had our project with the Vision Center, where we were able to test over 50 individuals within our community that had the eyes tested. And we are aware that a number of these individuals are in need of glasses. So these fundraisers will help us in order to assist these individuals with getting glasses, as well for our project with our seniors and to those unfortunate people that is in need as well.
I'm happy that you made mention of the Lion Rudy Hoover Health and Wellness Fair. Has a date been set as to when this is going to take place?
A final date is not in place yet. Our committee is still looking at the logistics on how we're going to do it. As you know, we normally keep it at the Festival Village, and last year we also look at Bel Air Community Center. And we are still looking at what we will be doing because of the COVID restrictions. So that is still being planned, and we do hope by the end of this month our committee will be able to come with a definite plan, and that will be brought forward to the public.
And with that, viewers, it brings us to the end of this edition of SXM Daily News. I am Valerie Van Putten, thanking you so much for tuning in this evening. And just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, we thank you so much for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again tomorrow.